Happy Vlogmas!
Good morning. Happy 9th day of Christmas. My true love gave to me 9 lords a leaping, 8 ladies dancing. I'm not sure about the lords. I should have looked it up. Good morning. Good morning. It's Barbara. Happy 9th day of Christmas. Time passes so quickly. It feels like in the old-timey movies, you know, when they wanted to show people traveling, they showed you the airplane going across the globe. And when they wanted to show you time passing, they had the calendar, flip pages, flip, flip. That's what it feels like. Flip, 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 flip. Good morning. January 2nd, 2024. Yeah. Dennis brought me coffee in bed. And so I've been up reading my phone, seeing what's happening in the new year, and, you know, for quite some time, I finally said, "Oh, you're a lazy bum today," which made me laugh. Yeah, I am a lazy bum today. And then I said, you know, we need to rethink how we think about things, because I just gave my daughter-in-law pep talk on New Year's Eve because she called herself lazy. We were talking about, it was New Year's resolutions, and my son has decided to read 50 books this year. And he was never much of a reader, but he occasionally read books that he really liked, and he apparently wants to read more. And anyway, we started talking about things like that, and hobbies and things. And Allison's like, "Oh, I don't have any hobbies." Well, or Jason pointed out, "You don't have any hobbies." You know. And a hobby is something that you kind of acquire organically, don't you? I mean, it's not like, "Oh, I need a hobby. Let me go find a hobby." Do people do that? I'm not sure. But anyway, in this conversation about hobbies, she said that she was lazy. Oh, I'm so lazy. Allison is one of the least lazy people I know. I mean, she has downtime. She's allowed to have downtime, but she works full-time. She has 2 preteen children that, you know, she takes care of, and, you know, a life with world, and she's feeling lazy. I'm like, oh my gosh. Allison, you need to recalibrate your brain. You've been brainwashed by the Puritans. You're allowed to have some downtime. And you're allowed to do whatever you want with that downtime. It's not being lazy. And I was correct in you know, what I told her was true. However, I also was brainwashed by the Puritans. And, you know, to think that if you're not doing something productive, idle hands are the devil's playground. That you're being lazy. So, teasingly, Dennis said, "Oh, you're a lazy bum today," meaning, "Oh, you're in bed later than you usually are." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was lazy yesterday too. And I may be lazy all week." And he looked at me and he said, "Or the rest of your life." I'm like, "Yeah, or the rest of my life." Yeah. Those internal expectations that you set for yourself that are so unrealistic, just like people who set themselves, you know, I did suggest to Jason that maybe he wanted to make it 25 books. Although he speculated he might have read 20 books this year. But I said, you know, you might want to make it 25. And he's like, oh, no, go for it. And I'm like, okay, fine. I just sent him 2 books in the mail. I just ordered 2 books for him to be sent to his house. He's going to read 50. He needs suggestions, right? Anyway. Sometimes you just need to examine. Maisie getting up and shaking. Examine how we talk to ourselves and what we say, and you know, that inner voice, not necessarily friendly. I mean, when you think about how you talk to yourself, sometimes you would never say those things to a friend, ever. It's crazy. Well, my friend Valerie reminds me periodically when I say things that are less than, you know, positive. And I do appreciate being reminded, because I know how things are. And it's so funny. I've often thought about the mother in my head. You know, I often evaluate things like, what would my mother think? You know, I don't do it very much now, but I did it in my, you know, middle-aged years a lot. And at one point, it really struck me that the mother in my head that I was using as the gauge was the mother interpreted and extrapolated and internalized by a 12-year-old. It wasn't even my real mother. That threw me for a while, you know. For some reason, the 12-year-old me thought my mother didn't like green. Not that that made me not like green, but turns out my mother likes green just fine. I mean, I remember walking in their living room saying, hey, you got a lot of green in this living room. I thought you didn't like green. She says, I like green. So that mother in my mind turned out to be a completely artificial and inaccurate rendition of my mother. Very strange. I don't know who the current voice is, but it's not always friendly. So you just need to, you know, take everything with a grain of salt, even that inner voice. I told Dennis that if this vlog had any relationship to like what I did yesterday, it was going to be really, really short. It's not going to be really, really short because it's already not really, really short. But I read yesterday. I read a book and a half. I enjoyed it very much. We didn't even watch TV last night. We had beautiful music on the television, and we sat there with our books and our whatever and just had a companionable evening, listening to beautiful music and doing what we wanted to do, which was sitting quietly and reading. We were all sitting reading our own individual things. So I didn't do anything. I am wearing my Monte Cristo. It's not Monte Cristo. Monte Rosa cardigan. One of my faves. This is a Isabel Kramer pattern. This was the one, I don't know. I made this many years ago, and when I was talking about it on my podcast, I said, I was sitting there with 4 charts. Each row used 4 charts. There are cables in the back, too, not just in the front. Anyway, I really love this sweater. I highly recommend it as a sweater, and I enjoyed knitting it, but I was into it at the time. I wouldn't knit it now. Although, maybe that's something I should consider to get my juices flowing. Because I did enjoy doing the cables on Kim's hat. And, but I haven't knit for a few days, so I'm still behind. I think I'm going to knit today. I feel like I need to knit today. It's a bright, sunny day. It feels like a good day to knit. I'm feeling a little energized by that. I've been reading for the last 3 days. I still have a half a book to finish. And then I'm going to be knitting. I would like to finish my hat. My hat is going to be gorgeous. And, you know, it'll sort of wrap up the whole holiday season. We've only got a couple more days. I'm going to open day 19 of Botanical Yarn and see. We got that. We got, this is what yesterday's was. It doesn't fit in the bowl anymore. Let's see what today's is. Oh, gee. This is today's. This was yesterday's. I only know it's today's because it's in my left hand. I sincerely cannot tell the difference between these two, if there is one. Cannot tell the difference. There you go. Day 18, day 19. Very curious. I don't know. Maybe I should go find a blog that they wrote or something that tells me what they were thinking, because right now it's really hard to tell what they thought they were doing with 24 yarns when I think that's the 4th or the 5th where there are 2 that I can't tell the difference. Very strange. Pretty color. Anyway. So I'm getting my booster, not my booster shot. I'm getting my second shingle shot today. So I wore this because I had to wear sleeveless so I could bear an arm in the drugstore without, you know, embarrassing myself. And I do love this. And this yarn, I wish I could remember what it is. I have to go find my podcast about this. I know that the contrasting color is Swan Island. This yarn I got in Yarn Box, and then I bought more of it because I wanted a sweater out of it. It's so beautiful. The Swan Island, you can tell it's completely different yarn. It's more rustic. Yeah. But I was looking for a navy blue to contrast, and I think I got it at Rhinebeck. I couldn't find navy blue, plain navy blue yarn anywhere. It was really weird till I found that. But that, I mean, like one skein of that Swan's Island was like really expensive, like $30 for 50 grams. I mean, really ridiculous, but I bought it. And I made it into a sweater that I love, so I have contrasting in my inside where the button part of the button band. So I have to sew my buttons so that they're further over, because they gap open, even though the sweater fits me much better now that I'm thinner than it was when I mean, the sweater fits me perfectly, but it still gaps in the front because of the buttons and the buttonhole. So I need to move the buttons over, I think, because I do button it. In fact, at one point I thought maybe I don't even need to make cardigans because I always button them because I'm cold. So why not just put on a pullover or a jumper, as they say in other parts of the world. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do today. Get my shot, read my book, and knit on my hat. I will show you my progress tomorrow, if there's any. If there isn't any, I'll show you either way. But you will see. I'm in the middle of that yellow to make that yellow welt, and then we can see where we go from there. I've gotten a couple of good colors since then that I think will go nicely next. And we're talking about the very top of my head where I won't be able to see it when I wear it. And, you know, I'm a little bit about what I can enjoy from my knitting, not necessarily the world, which is why I'm not a big fan of only on the back of the sweater fancy stuff going on, because I don't see it there. Same idea. Anyway, so I'm going to go on. I have knitting to do. I have a book to finish. I have errands to run. And I need to put this vlog up. So, happy 9th day of Christmas. Oh, my true loves. Yes. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please stay safe and stay sane.